Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today, we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that we normally do each day. I'm going to give you my financial opinions, and if you guys need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. I can help you out there and really navigate and learn these markets. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what's going on with the markets today. We've got a potential reversal here in the dollar. This is what's considered to be a bearish engulfing, where the opening and closing price engulfs the day before it. That is a reversal candlestick to go lower. Now, if we were to zoom in, really what it is, you can see the reversal in the short term there. Created a high, lower high. You can draw a trend line up through here, and it's broken to the downside. So the momentum is going to the downside for the dollar. This could have profound impacts on the way that assets are being priced if we get follow through with the dollar heading lower. We've got the 2-year yield, which is declining here. So this could be a false breakout. That's what we were waiting for. We're waiting for information to see if we were actually going to move higher or if this is going to break back down. Now, we're not in the clear yet, not by any means. We want to see follow through tomorrow of this actually following through to being sold to the downside. If we see follow through and we see the dollar go down, most likely you're going to see an uninversion of the yield curve to some extent. You're going to see precious metals respond. So that's what we're looking for. And right now, the current trajectory is lower in the short term. But again, we're not in the clear yet. We want to see follow through. If we don't get follow through, it's very possible that this bounces off support tomorrow. So let's wait for this follow through. Let's see what happens. The 10-year also was lower, but again, the momentum's to the upside on the 10-year. The 30-year, again, not much selling pressure, momentum's to the upside. Is there a way that we get the yield curve to basically uninvert to some degree where the short end comes down and the long end goes up? That's called a bear steepener. We're still getting that to some extent. Like, I feel like we're almost still in that type of scenario where this could remain resilient or go higher, and the short end actually come down, which is possible. So your TYX TNX ratio, it came up a little bit today, and we had the dollar down, we had yields come down some, and I don't know if gold's believing the move yet. Don't know yet, and that's what we're going to watch and see, because this is generally good for gold, but it just started to move from, we've been going up and increasing in interest rates quite dramatically. So it needs, I think, a little bit of relaxation before it believes the move. Bond prices slightly higher. Is this a bottom where we could turn and move on up with? It could be. This is what we're seeing in the short term. And I'm sure you guys, if you've been with me for a while, or you're on the website, you know what this looks like. What is that? Well, that's a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. That's an inverted head and shoulders, and we could head higher. Now, remember what I always talk about. The short term isn't as reliable as longer term time frames. There's a lot of emotions and news and crap that can move markets in the short term. Longer term, it's all fundamental driven. So we have some indication that we could be bottoming and working our way higher here. So I am of the instance to believe the pattern until it's null and void. So I think we could see a bounce here. And what I'm going to say is, let's see how strong the bounce potentially could be. If we get a bounce, that means yields could go lower. We could see an uninversion of the yield curve slowly, perhaps. and then we'll see what gold and silver do. Gold was down, but again, we've got a wick on the bottom. It could be bottoming. Could be. Now, this isn't as strong as bond prices because you can see we've got lots of momentum coming down here. But we did bounce a little bit off the bottom here. So again, let's see what happens. I don't want to prematurely call bottom here, but could this be a false breakdown that slingshots to the upside? It could be. It could be. And we want to see what yields and the dollar do here. The dollar declines and yields start to decline as well. We could see a move up, and we want to see how strong that bounce is. If it's really strong and we rocket out of here and put a big fat candlestick down, like tomorrow, good. That's what we want to see. That means we're probably going to go higher. If we get a really, really weak bounce, like we just get this like stupid little candlesticks, then look for a lower move in gold and look for potential higher rates. So again, let's wait and see what the next few trading days bring us. Silver looks a little bit better. It's definitely trying to put in some sort of movement, but again, we need to see follow through tomorrow. This is not a strong candlestick. It could be a reversal candlestick, but we got to see follow through. You can see here, we can kind of draw a trend line through here. It looks like we're breaking this trend line, but we got to see some follow through. It very well could roll over. So again, let's be patient. Let's see what we get. Platinum looks a lot better, and this does look more so like it's putting in some sort of bottom and trying to move on up for platinum. So that looks a lot better versus silver and gold at the moment. XAU to gold ratio, this is positive indication that there could be some people front running the move in gold. And usually what you see is people start to pile in to gold and silver mining companies before gold goes up. This is a bullish engulfing, and that does look like we could potentially go higher in this ratio. So that's a good thing. Looks like I can't zoom in on a ratio chart. The CRB index, it's holding together. It's a bloody nose. That still looks like we could go higher in the CRB index. So that's still good. CRB versus S&P 500, we had a little bit lower yields. And we could see this relax a little bit sideways, or maybe it comes back around or whatever, consolidates, if yields were to come back dramatically, because that might be positive for the overall markets with yields coming back like they did and the dollar coming back a little bit. GDX, we can see a little bit of positioning in it. We're getting some green candlesticks, but again, lots of momentum to the downside. Let's wait and see what the bounce looks like, and maybe we've got some more basing to do. GDXJ as well, you can see it. It's trying to do something here. And SILJ. So we have to see what this bounce is going to look like if it's going to bounce. Crude oil down, lower yields, lower dollar. Crude it doesn't like that as much. Precious metals like that more so. So we had a little bit of a down day today. Is this a reversal candlestick? We'll see. We'll see. This could just be a retest here, guys. And I'm zoomed way in. There is your I can't zoom out. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. We could be doing a retest move before heading higher, which is a possibility. We've broken out, and here's your return move. And then we'll see if we can get going again. TTF, natural gas, just moving sideways. That looks good to go higher. Why do I say that? Really what it is it's like a flag pattern, basically. You can draw a little flag pattern in here. There it is, kind of a flag. I drew it real quick, but there's your flag pattern, your poles, this guy here. And that's generally a continuation pattern. What I call this, when you look at it from daily candlestick, is I call it a bloody nose. It's a tall green candlestick that's broken out, and then you get a couple of selling pressure days that go sideways in that flag candlestick. Net gas up 1.45%. Looks pretty good, and it looks like it's trying to work its way on higher. Is this the basing pattern that we see and then the eventual move to the upside? It looks like it. We'll see what happens. XOP, yeah, you know me, right at that resistance line. There's your neckline of the inverted head and shoulders, and we're at that resistance level. So just be patient here. We got rejected last time we were up here, came back down, looped back around, and now we're trying to break through it again. Give it some time. OIH, a little bit of selling pressure. It's not really a reversal candlestick or anything. We'll just have to wait and see where this thing goes. It still looks good to continue higher if it wants to. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, up today, up a little bit. This is kind of the continuation here. I'll draw it on the short term, guys. It still looks very good. So you basically draw kind of it's a stair-stepping pattern. It's kind of like a continuation pattern here. And you can just continue to draw these continuation patterns, basically, these channels, so to speak. And what happens is, just to throw everything in here, there's your channels, right? And what you're doing is you're just basically, you break out and you jump from channel to channel, right? That's your hopping section there. I call that a stair-stepping pattern. These are your stairs that you're stepping on. I've talked about it before. I don't think I've ever drawn it out like that for most people. And we're still stair-stepping higher, and it looks really good to continue on up. So that looks excellent. And that's what it looks like from a long-term perspective. So that still looks good. URA is still looking pretty good. We have a little bit of a wick at the top. What that means is that we came up and we sold off a little bit, but still looks pretty solid. What you want to see are big green candlesticks and small red candlesticks. That's basically your stair-stepping pattern. And there's your breakout there. We've broken to the upside of this little pattern. But again, guys, I don't trade the short term. I look at the longer term picture here and just say, you know what, it's going up. I just take my hands off the wheel and let it go. Let it go, let it make me money. There's a long way higher that we can go here, and that momentum is in stride, or it's in progress. URNM also moving on up. Again, this still looks really good. There's not much selling pressure anywhere in those candlesticks. It's mainly dominated by green candlesticks and small red days. Perfect for continuation to the upside. URNJ is the same way. You can see how it just kind of doesn't really pull back. Small pullbacks, and it's just ripping. TAN, it's getting, we're coming towards that $48 level. It's starting to slow down. Again, this is going to be highly sensitive to yields in the dollar. We'll see what happens there. COPX, getting a nice bounce today. Nice bounce today. We'll see if that continues. We can go look at the copper chart. Copper futures chart does look a lot better, but we're still in the channel for the big picture view on COPX. Lithium bouncing off support. It actually doesn't look too bad down here. I'll say that. Same with REMX. I don't think it looks that bad down here if you're looking for exposure to these sectors. S&P 500. This is a bullish engulfing. Again, it's going to be highly sensitive to interest rates and dollar. And it is a bullish engulfing. So we'll see what the bounce looks like. Still lots of momentum to the downside. We got to see what the bounce looks like. NASDAQ, same thing. It's going to bounce here. How big? We'll find out. Emerging markets liking the weaker dollar, weaker yields, and putting in what I think could be a short-term bottom. And we could see a bounce here. XHB doing the same thing. Bullish engulfing, bullish engulfing. There's two of them side by side. I do think that we could potentially head higher. And we want to see what the bounce looks like. Is it going to be strong? Is it a weak bounce that's going to roll over? Don't know yet. We do have a lot of selling pressure back here. That does look like a structure that could be a little bit more oomph behind it. So let's see what the bounce gives us. MU also getting a bounce today, much like the NASDAQ and S&P. Again, let's see what the bounce gives us. See if we're bouncing. This is copper. Now, copper came back into the channel or into the pattern. And I still think it looks like it could break to the upside. Why do I say that? Even though it broke, kind of is playing with this support level or break to the downside. There's just no large selling pressure here. You get buyers coming in here. They're all small little candlesticks in here. There's no force behind it. It's almost like it just came down here because of it's waiting for the other market conditions to basically catch up, whatever that is. And then we put a fat green candlestick today. So now we've got these big green candlesticks, right? And there isn't much selling pressure over here. Look at all the small red candlesticks. So I still think that this could head higher. And I think that looks good for a move to the upside, is where I'm thinking. We do have a bullish engulfing here. We have a bullish engulfing here. And those are generally bullish. Iron ore down a little bit today. But again, we're going to go higher here, guys. Even though we pull back, usually you get a breakout. You get a little bit of a retest move. And then we go. It could be some sort of consolidation, a flag pattern. It could be something like a pennant formation. I don't know. Whatever it turns out to be. I still think we're going higher because we're sitting on top of a falling wedge, which is good. Nickel, I still think there's some selling pressure here in nickel. And you can see there's no green army here. So there's no large up candlesticks. The sellers are kind of dominating this, and I think it could continue lower in the short term here. Just be careful. Aluminum looking good. It is extending pretty good candlestick here, so that looks like we could go higher in aluminum in the short term. We've got the Baltic Dry Index looking fantastic. I think we are going to end up moving higher. How did I know that? Because I've seen this so many times, guys. You get a falling wedge, you get a false breakdown or false breakout to the downside. It breaks on up. That's your kind of your slingshot. And we went sideways for a little while. There's not much selling pressure in here. This generally resolves itself to the upside, just because I've seen this over the years. And let's hope that can continue. It's got good momentum behind this. Newcastle coal, I think coal is going to do well. I think it's trying to bottom here. So I do think it's going to work its way on up. Sideways to higher is what I am. It's right on the base of its pattern here. Let me go monthly here. There's your base. We broke out. We came all the way back. Here's your retest. It looks very eerily similar to natural gas. What's natural gas doing? Well, it's trying to put in a bottom and work on higher. All of your fertilizers are doing the same thing. It's all doing the same stuff in a lot of these different commodities. So I do think this will work its way on higher eventually. Surprisingly, Bitcoin up today. Same with Ethereum. Some pretty big moves here. And is liquidity going to come back into the system? Is Powell or Janet Yellen from the Treasury, are they trying to work something in the background with suppressing yields on the short end? Maybe, I don't know. But it looks good, and this is kind of pricing in. Maybe there's some liquidity that's coming. I don't know. But it sure looks like people are positioning in it. So that's what I've seen in the markets today, guys. That's kind of my take on it. Copper doesn't look too bad. It looks like it shot back inside the pattern. Oil still looks good. It looks like it's just doing a retest move. Uranium still looks really strong. Basically, everything is still in motion that we think is supposed to be in motion. Gold and silver and yields. Is that going to turn around? We'll find out here in the next week or two. And then if we get lower yields and if they come back down, if the yield curve kind of uninverts to some extent, I think gold and silver would be pretty good spots to be looking if that occurs. So yeah, that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. If you guys are Platinum members, we do have a Platinum question and answer session coming up at 7 a.m. on Saturday, Mountain Time. So if you've got questions, go ahead, come to that question and answer session and ask away. I'll tell you whatever I know. The good thing with this is, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys still have to manage your own money. But you get to manage your own money. You get to do whatever you want. You can take my opinions. You can see what I'm doing. You can take my education and try to apply it and learn the markets yourself if that's what you're interested in. That's the power of knowing how to play these markets, is you have total control over all of your outcomes and of your own financial destiny. Destiny? Yeah, destiny. That's what I wanted. So that's why I continue to manage my own money, and I don't like having someone else take my money and then earn a big fat fee off of it because they usually take a percentage basis off your total amount, which is generally a very big amount. So that's what we've got for today. We'll catch you guys on Saturday. Obviously, we got tomorrow that we're going to be trading too. I'll see you tomorrow there doing this technical analysis update, and we'll catch you later, guys. See ya.